Hello everyone and welcome to a new video of Firepower Threat Defense series. So till now what we have seen is we have added FTD1 and FTD2 to the FMC, and you can see FTD2 is offline because I have not powered it on, while FTD1 is online, which is a routed mode FTD. Now in this video we are going to look at object management, basically creation of hosts, network, range and FQDN based objects in FMC. Why I have chosen this at this stage is because several settings requires those objects to be, mapped onto them when we will move on to that. So let's first look at the object management. In order to do the object management, you have to go to objects on FMC and then click on object management. So on the menu on the left hand side, you see there is a network section. If you click on this network section, it gives you access to creation of hosts, networks, ranges, and FQDNs. In order to create a host, we will click on here and then click on add object. So now let's create a host object. Okay. I'll say h underscore test underscore one. Let's give it an IP address. I'll choose 1.1.1 and I can give a description as well. About this allow overrides, we'll talk in further object creations within this video. Okay. So I have created a host object. You see it has been created. Now let's create a range object. I'll say r underscore test underscore one. I want to create a range. Range is like, I can give something like this. So this is a range from here to here and save. That's how you create a range object. Now let's create another object that will be of type network. I would say network n underscore test underscore one. Let's give it a network. This is a valid network. Okay. And if I create another network object n underscore test underscore two, and if I mention this is also a valid network object. Okay. So you have flexibility to use network mask as well as the slash value. Now, other than that, the last one was a FQDN object. Okay, let's create a FQDN object. I'll say test.com. Now you have several other options available. First option is, do you want to resolve with both IPv4 and IPv6, or just with IPv6 or just with IPv4? I'm gonna choose just with IPv4. You can choose as per your relevance and then hit save. So this is our FQDN object. So we created a FQDN object, a host object, a range object, and two network objects. Okay. Now let's see how to create a object group. Click on group and say G underscore test underscore one, and then you can choose what objects will be part of this group. Like suppose I want to add host and I want to add network, and I can give a description, and then I can also configure overrides. We will look into overrides. They work in the similar way in objects and object groups, but we will look onto them. So I hit the save, and that's how you create an object group. Now let's look at the overrides option. Okay, so let's create an object. I'll say I'll say h underscore DNS. Okay, and its by default value is 8.8.8. Okay, but suppose I want to achieve a functionality like this object should have one value on one FTD and another value on another FTD. Okay, object that changes its value as per the box it is present on, or the group of boxes it is present on. That can be achieved by using the allow overrides. I'll select allow overrides. So by default, value of this object is 8.8.8. Now I can say when this object goes to FTD1, its value, one moment, let me say the override value. Its value should be 1.1.1. Okay. So you see, if this object is present on FTD1 firewall, its value will be this and not this. And by default on all other firewalls, its value will be this. To whatever firewalls it get pushed to, I can just hit save. Similar thing can be done with networks and I think FQDNs as well. Let me just have a look for the FQDN stuff. Yeah, there is allow overrides. You can say on FTD1 resolve that name and on one FTD resolve one name and on another FTD resolve a different name to get the relevant IP address. I'll give you one of the scenarios where it can be useful. That can be NAT. Suppose you created a single object and you said, okay, this is a NAT IP, NAT underscore IP. Okay, it has a default value 192.168.253 dot I'll say 201. Okay. But if this object is present on FTD1 firewall, then its value will be 202. Similarly, I can add more overrides, more overrides for other firewalls as well. Like I choose FTD2, I say on FTD2, its value should be 203. So this is one of the use case where you can use this overrides option, and the objects that have override enabled, you will see them something like this. You see one override column will have the value listed as one. Okay, this also has override. Let me see. Yeah, all our overrides is enabled, but there are no overrides. I'll just switch it off. Okay, so that was about it. But there is another interesting thing. On ASA, whenever you created network objects, you always use subnet mask. But here you have the support for wildcard mask as well. And wildcard mask give you more flexibility in terms of, I would say, in terms of matching the IP addresses. Okay, let me see. They are supported with the network based. Okay, so you say 10.0.0, and I say 255 dot. Sorry, my bad. Dot 255 dot 0 dot 2255. Okay, let me just close this nitrosense. Okay, so this is a wildcard mask. I'll show you how this object is shown in the type. The type will be a bit different. Let me show you. Where does it go? I think it's on the next page. Yeah, you see, network wildcard. So this is something which is supported in FTD. When you manage it via FMC, you can use the wildcard as well. Other than that, yeah, let's talk about. Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall. I'm talking about Palo Alto because I did the Palo Alto series just before FTD. So in terms of zones, you also need to create zones in FTD, which you will use in your policies, and you will assign these interfaces to the zones. Zones are created under the object management interface section. You click on add, you can create interface group or a zone. We'll just talk about security zone in this video. Just select security zone. I can give the zone a name. I can say a zone type, interface type, what interface types will go in. Okay. So I can say routed. If there are any routed interfaces on whatever firewalls, they will be shown here and then they can be moved here. Okay. Routed means basically, which have the IP address and take part in the routing over the network. So that's it about this video. We'll be looking at zones in further when we will be configuring the interfaces on the FTD1 box. Okay. So right now the thing is all the configuration is present on the FMC. It's only pushed to the devices when you deploy the changes to the devices, and those objects should be used in a policy. So that's it for this video. Uh, have a good day, and I'll see you in another video.